everyone, welcome back to Pistify. This is Lab 6, all about app hosting. So, as you can see on the screen, we are going to do something with the Python and we'll test it with no hop, and then we'll try to do something with systemctl. Although I have covered this, I believe, while installing Nginx, we enabled Nginx server as well, but still, we'll try to test something here. Let's go to the terminal without wasting any time. Let me restart it again and clear the workspace. Okay, so the core commands we'll talk about, and this is not the hosting on any Linux, but since this is EC2 Linux, so I'll be specific about this particular OS. So very first command, I will check first whether I have Python. I should have Python because we installed it earlier, and then what we'll do, we'll try to start a temporary web server. How we can do that? Python 3 hyphen m and then http dot server. Let's see, not HTTPS, it should be HTTP. Now it is serving HTTP on this and port 8000. So it is listening to port 8000. And now what we'll do, ideally we should run it on port 800 by itself, or 8080. Let's see if we can do this as well. Okay, now it's running on 8080. So what, we haven't chosen any port here, so it took it by default 8000, but now we are running on 800. If we try to access it, let's see, if we are into console here and we open this IP with HTTP, and then I'll say port 8000, what we get? Do we get anything? Let's see. And meanwhile, I'll say localhost 800. We are not getting anything in there. And let's see this. So basically what happens internally here is when you try to start a temporary web server, what it is doing, it this Python actually running the model called http.server. Okay, and this process stays in like foreground. That means when when this process stops, and when would this stop? When you close your terminal, when you disconnect the session. So this is like very useful, and for this I would say the use case would be around your demonstration. When you do any training, you just do the quick testing. So this is not really recommended for production, because in production there is uh, no chance of getting something auto restarted or stops on logout. So uh, like for production, it is not very good. We call it bad for production. This is like starting an app manually, so it's good for testing, not production. And if I use no hub, let me first see. So we are not getting anything because as just a second, there is no port opened with 8080 in my security group. So let's first open 8080. Just a second. Since I have a screen share here, that's the reason it's taking time. Add inbound rules. I'll say add 8080. Customize 8080. I'll open it for all so that I can access it. So now if I go here in instances, we see Okay, in details, where is the IP? Again, I'm going to open this IP on port 8080. See, so demo for lab 1 I am getting on port 8080, right? So we have the temporary HTTP server up, and since we are, and when you try to access it, what it said, you are serving HTTP on port on 0000 port 8080. So when we tried to access it, it said get this, and we also got the message file not found, right? And then we have some style uh, icon or something like that. So this is useful to again debug or to check whether any service management is there or not, whether you have any application in the background, or maybe when you do the SSH logout, how it works. So second, in addition to this, when when you use no hub here with ampersand, what it does, it would run the app in the background, so your app would still be running even after the SSH is log out, because your output goes to nohub.out file. So in that scenario, what happens is your process is detached from the terminal, because Linux ignores the logout signal there. So still would consider a normal process, not a service. So that is very useful if you are doing any POCs, if you're doing any lab kind of thing, means short term hosting kind of thing you can do. So what I'll do now, I'll use ampersand, and then I'll say no hub here. So what is doing, it says ignoring input and appending output to no hub dot out, right? So that's what you can do. This is not really doing anything on the screen, but it is doing something on the back end, and the output is in the dot out. Let me see if I can browse it, just a second. No. So if I do no hub dot out, there is no, let me see. So this is blank. We can quickly check. So it is no hub. None. Okay, that looks fine. It is detaching. Mm. Okay, the reason is because while it doing it, we haven't tried anything. So let's try to refresh this, try to access it again, and now go back. And now we'll say cat. Now we have something. So address already in use. So we have run it above as well. That's the reason it is saying the address already in use, right? So if I do this, 8088 and then do this. And here if I say 88, but the port is not allowed. Right, so let's open this port again. Now instead of 8080, what I'll do is I'll say 8088. You can run on any port. Now if I try to browse this IP with 8088, I have this demo for lab 1. And now if I hit enter and now check, so I'm getting the same what I was getting earlier when I was running it. So no, starting with no hub, ending with ampersand will still execute the things, but you would not see it on the screen. It's ignoring it here, and entire output is uh, appending it into nohub.out file. So that's the reason uh, you have this. Okay, and now if I again talk about what do we call it? Uh, tail. I think I have already covered this as well earlier. If I do this no hub dot out, what it has, it is giving the live uh, logs monitoring, so it's getting it from the same directory. Okay, so that's how you do the hosting in your Linux system. This is the temporary web server we have initiated, but since mm, we already have this in the Python script, not the Python script, but our, just a second, ls cat index.html demo for lab 1. So we already had it here. That's the reason it retrieved the files from here, whatever we have, and it throwed the content on the browser itself. So that's how you host the applications when you talk about standalone Linux. But when you are doing anything, any kind of hosting on EC2, I already have that video as well in my EC2 playlist, how to host websites. If I say view full playlist, it will give you an idea of it. I have seen here how to host HTML website on EC2 instance. You can make a use of it. Just watch it and try to do it on